Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Honestly, consider this your official wake-up call. If you're feeling stuck right now, like you're watching the whole world move incredibly fast while you're just standing completely still, well, this is exactly for you. We're looking at the foundational blueprints of what it actually takes to build real, lasting success before 2026. Because the truth is, the architecture of ambition requires clearing the ground before you can build anything meaningful.
I really want you to be brutally honest with yourself for a second. Who or maybe what do you actually blame for your lack of progress? Is it the economy? A terrible boss? Maybe you blame the fact that other people just seem to be winning the lottery of life while you stay stuck. We all have these loud external excuses perfectly lined up and ready to go. But what if you're looking in completely the wrong direction?
Well, here is the hard truth. The real enemies, the ones that are actually ruining your focus, totally draining your discipline, and shattering your confidence, they aren't out there in the world at all. They're sitting inside your house right now. You invite them to dinner every single night. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail isn't just about talent or luck. It's about who recognizes these silent saboteurs and actually deletes them.
Let's look at the blueprint for today. We're going to systematically deconstruct these 5 barriers from the inside out. First, the enemies inside you. Second, procrastination and self-doubt. Third, escaping toxic social circles. Fourth, breaking bad financial habits. Fifth, the invisible prison. And finally, your architecture of ambition.
Section 1. The enemies inside you. Identifying the silent saboteurs. Moving on to Section 2, procrastination and self-doubt. The internal traps. So many people think success is this massive, loud explosion of achievement. But it's not. Success is actually incredibly quiet. It's the silent daily discipline of just deleting the habits and influences that hold you back. And that means dealing with the lies we constantly tell ourselves. You probably call it waiting for the right moment, right? You tell yourself, "Oh, I'll just start tomorrow," or "I'm kind of not ready yet." But listen, tomorrow is a trap. It's literally the graveyard where 99% of dreams go to die. We need to be super clear here. Procrastination isn't laziness. Actually, scratch that. It's fear wearing a really clever mask of patience. You aren't lazy. You're just afraid to fail or afraid to look stupid. And that brings us to a really critical comparison. On one side, you have this total fantasy of waiting for motivation. But motivation, it's just a guest. It comes and goes whenever it feels like it. On the flip side is the reality of building discipline. Discipline is the friend that actually stays. So how do you build it? You just start with an action so tiny you literally cannot say no to it. You want to write a book? Just write one sentence. Want to get fit? Do one single push-up. The goal isn't to finish right this second. The goal is to just break the habit of waiting. Because 1 hour of actually doing something is worth way more than a year of just planning it. So the crucial point here is that this second enemy, the fear of failure, it absolutely freezes you into this invisible prison. Self-doubt whispers that you simply aren't good enough, doesn't it? It convinces you to stay in a job you hate just because you're terrified of the unknown. And when you let self-doubt take the wheel like that, you're failing by default without ever even trying. Let's anchor this with a really powerful story from our sources about the legendary entrepreneur Jack Ma. Imagine taking your college entrance math exam. It's a massive, life-defining test out of 120 points. He scored exactly 1 point. Just one. He was rejected from Harvard 10 times and turned down for 30 different jobs. Later on, when KFC first came to his city, he went to apply for a job. 24 people in total applied for positions there. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Out of those 24 applicants, 23 were accepted. He was the absolute only one who got rejected. No way, right? The voice of self-doubt could have so easily convinced him to just stop forever right then and there. But he didn't. And why? Because he learned to completely reframe failure. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's literally just a step on the road to it. You kind of need to view yourself as a scientist. When something goes wrong, you just discovered one way that doesn't work. It's just data. It's just information. The only true failure, the only time the experiment actually ends, is when you give up. All right, Section 3, escaping toxic social circles, the social drain. Now, this next enemy is brutal because it often looks like a friend, a family member, or maybe a trusted colleague. It's a proven reality. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the absolute most time with. If you share a big, exciting idea and your circle immediately tells you to be realistic, they aren't protecting you. They're projecting their own fear onto you. You simply cannot fly with eagles if you're swimming with ducks. You've got to ruthlessly and honestly curate your circle. If people are pulling you down into mediocrity, you really must love yourself enough to drastically reduce the time you spend with them. Moving to Section 4, Breaking Bad Financial Habits. The resource leaks. This enemy right here? It keeps you poor no matter what your salary is. People always believe earning more is going to solve their problems. But hey, if you can't manage $100, you are definitely not going to manage $100,000. Far too many of us get caught up in the cycle of buying new phones, designer clothes, fancy dinners, spending for today's happiness while completely sacrificing tomorrow's freedom. We buy liabilities that lose value the exact second we open the box, just to impress strangers on social media who don't even care about us. Conversely, buying assets means investing in books, courses, and skills. Real wealth is what you build behind the scenes, not what you show off. Think about this vivid metaphor for a second. Sacrificing your future for a quick flex today is exactly like a farmer eating his seeds in the winter. If you eat the seeds right now, there is zero harvest later. None. You absolutely have to reverse the cycle. Pay yourself first. Before you buy anything else, invest in your own mind and your own growth. That is for sure the greatest investment you're ever going to make. Which brings us to Section 5, the invisible prison, the physical and mental environment. This enemy shapes how you think without you even noticing it. Your personal drive might be incredibly strong, but over time, your environment is almost always stronger. I mean, if your room is a complete mess, your mind is going to be a mess. If you spend hours just doom scrolling through negative news and toxic social media drama, your mind just fills with garbage. It's literal junk food for your brain. It makes you weak, it makes you incredibly distracted. And if you stay in an environment where nobody talks about growth or big ideas, your own ambition is going to slowly, quietly die. Your comfort zone literally becomes a cage. Finally, Section 6, your architecture of ambition, the final action plan. Okay, we've identified the enemies. Now here's your action plan to build a totally new foundation. First step, clean your physical space. A clear room leads directly to a clear mind. Second, fix your information diet. Unfollow all that negativity and replace it with podcasts, books, and content that actually teaches you something. Protect your mind. And third, choose your surroundings. Go find your own Silicon Valley, whether that's an environment, a specific city, or even just an online community that forces you to level up and really challenges what you think is possible.
Ultimately, we all need to realize that real success is an inside job. It's not your job title. It's definitely not the balance in your bank account. True wealth is becoming the total master of your own life by tearing down these internal and external barriers. And yeah, it requires immense honesty, courage, and serious discipline to fight this war against the enemies sitting inside your own house.
I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to take with you today. The journey of deleting these habits, it's incredibly hard. As the source notes, today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. The absolute tragedy is that most people give up tomorrow evening just before the sun comes up. So my question to you is, will you? Or are you going to embrace the hard work today to finally secure the future you actually deserve? Start right now. Because honestly, your time is way too